Hello, I hope you all are doing well. Today I want to do a video for you that is under 7 minutes because as of late I have been rather attracted to videos of this length, and I figured why not just keep that energy going. And I want to talk today about a book that I recently just read with my library book club, and that is A People's History of Heaven by Matangi Subramanian. And I very much hope that I got that name something close to correct because I did practice. I really did practice it. This book came to me on recommendation from Rincey over at Rincey Reads about a year ago, a little over a year ago, probably just pre-pandemic, when I was looking for a book for my book club that had a little bit of romance in it but wasn't necessarily a romance novel, and also had a larger plot to it, and she recommended this book to me. And then book club stopped, and here we are again picking right back up where we left off. This was going to be our April book in 2020, but instead it was our May book for 2021. But to cut a long story very short, this book is very full of quiet joy. And it was so lovely and gentle in a very well-rounded way, even though there was a lot of not gentle topics happening within it. The book follows the story of these 5 girls who live in a slum in Bangalore, and the city has let them know that their slum again is set for demolition because it is an eyesore. The city no longer wants it there. They don't care about the people who are living there, and they have been told through various notices from the city that the slum is going to be demolished and they need to pack up and leave. But lo and behold, much like governments are wont to do, they don't necessarily keep their word, and they show up early, far before folks are ready and have had the chance to move themselves along, and they show up to demolish the slum, and the girls in this book and their mothers band together and physically put themselves in between the bulldozers and their home, which is called heaven. The timeline for this story is actually quite short. We see them stand up for their home, and by the time we reach the end, I want to say perhaps no more than a week or 2 days even have passed. But along the way, we see, looking back across each of these girls' lives and their mothers' lives, to see how A, this may have happened before, B, it reveals the strength of all of them and the ways in which they have had to be strong because of the nature of their lives and their position in life. And we also learn a bit about each of the girls, who all sort of have their own, in dance we would call it a movement signature. They have their own sort of hallmark. Each of them has like a thing that makes them specific, whether that is their ability or their origin or their sexuality, any of those things. They have something that makes them specific, but as the book goes on, you do find out that they are more than that, and they are more than that because of each other and because of their families and because of the things that they are willing to do to keep each other together and to keep their families together. You learn a little bit about each of them, how they came to have their thing, if you will, and what role they play in each other's lives. And all along the way, you kind of have them guided not only by their mothers and by each other's mothers, but by this character who is at their school. A lot of the book is focused around opportunity of education for them, and the headmistress of their school sort of shepherds them along the way in different directions. She really does a lot for them, of course based on her own upbringing. She feels something and compelled to act for these people. So the book is really full of these quiet moments of joy, this learning about themselves, learning about their families, and learning what they have to do to continue to live the lives they have always either dreamed of living or never had before believed that they could live. I almost want to use the phrase that this book is very easy to read, but often when we say that, I find folks give it a negative connotation, and it's not necessarily that books are easy to read makes them simple or less powerful, but they should be at an access point. Literature like that is understandable by anyone, and that was the feeling in my book club, which is very intergenerational. We have a lot of folks who have different education backgrounds. We have folks who are from all parts of the world, have traveled to all parts of the world, and everybody that came to book club that day, which was about 10 people, really felt that they knew the people that they were reading in this book. They understood their motivations, and many of them who had spent time either in India or nearby in the Southern Asian region felt that they knew each of those characters. They had met those characters personally in their life before. There were a lot of moments that were very touching for folks in my book group. There were no tears, although we were really on the verge for a moment there. But this book was accessible to each of them. The story was accessible, the characters were accessible, and that made this book easy to understand, easy to read, and easy not in a negative way. It was something that was sort of soul-soothing in a way for folks, and just a story that really compels you to have something in your life that is happy, even though the context of that happiness may not seem like it's happy right up front. So if you're looking for a book that will lift your spirits, this book is certainly that. I highly recommend that you check it out. This book kind of has everything in just the right amounts. So if that's what you're into, definitely give this a go. And the one last thing that I actually would add was that I really like the perspective it was written from. It was written from the perspective sort of a collective, of all of them, truly sort of reflecting the title. The narration was reflective of everyone writing together. You had no one character who was telling the story. It really was like all 5 of the girls were telling you about their lives, about their families, and about the struggles that they faced. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having lovely weeks and lovely lives. Everything that you might want to know about us is indeed in the description, and I'll see you very soon.